What's going on, everyone? So it looks like Taurean Prince is gaining some traction as a serious option to start with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So each candidate has a different argument. Of the three, Vanderbilt is the best perimeter defender, which the starters clearly need, and adds solid rebounding and infectious energy. Hachimura is sturdy and athletic, capable of finishing in the paint and mid-range areas while also defending bigs. Prince is the best shooter by a significant margin, an important box to check in a James Davis front court. Now, it has been, for the most part this offseason, big conversation about Jarred Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura. And that's kind of been the battle. There's been reports both ways. It looks like the Lakers have kind of experimented with both of them. There's some reports that kind of lean towards Vando, some reports that lean towards Rui. Regardless, very likely one of these two are going to start. I still believe it's Jarred Vanderbilt that starts. I just think you keep the continuity of last year. It's something that Darvin Ham has hit on and stressed repeatedly. I've talked about this all offseason about going and sticking with Jarred Vanderbilt. Also, Rui Hachimura, he gets to kind of be the primary guy with him and Wood off the bench, kind of allows the Lakers to focus on his strengths more rather than, putting him in the starting unit where he's just kind of another piece. And yes, Rui would kind of help more getting better offensive starts, right? Because we saw last year the Lakers kind of get stagnant at times on the offensive side to start the games, and they really had to kind of play catch up, right? But I also think a lot of that was lack of chemistry and a new roster just basically being thrown together, and they have to kind of figure it out on the fly, right? Where now you actually have some stability, you have some chemistry, things like that. I think that's important and significant. And I just think Jarred Vanderbilt rounds out that roster beautifully. You have your two best shooters in D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves. Your two best playmakers, not named LeBron James, in D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves. Your two three-level scorers in Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell. You have LeBron James, who's the do-everything guy. And then you have Anthony Davis, who's the best defense player in the league and can go get you 30 and 15 on any given night, right? Like, you have the four core guys complement each other beautifully. But you look at it and it's like LeBron takes possessions off defensively, which is understandable. Again, 38, going to be 39, year 21. But I mean, how many times have we seen him not even go and try to close out or put a hand up when a guy's shooting it, right? Anthony Davis has to make up so much defensively, as we saw last year when Jarred Vanderbilt's not in the game. Now, a guy like Taurean Prince could really help in that regard. But I just think Jarred Vanderbilt, you have enough offensive firepower in your starting unit that Jarred Vanderbilt is so important on the defensive side. Rui, he has his struggles defending the twitchier perimeter guys. He's better guarding and defending the Aaron Gordons rather than the Mikal Bridges, right? And so Jarred Vanderbilt gives you that ability, gives you that switch ability, and it can also guard the best player on the other team night in and night out. Where Rui, he struggles with that lateral movement. He's great against the bigger players, right? I mean, we saw what he was able to do against Karl Anthony Towns. We saw what he was able to do against Jokic, right? You're never going to stop those guys, but he made things very difficult for being undersized compared to those two, and it's because he's got such a good lower center of gravity, so strong and so physical. So it would be best to play him at the 4, but now you got to put LeBron at the 3, and it's like he's already, just kind of floating around on defense at times, and then you're going to have him defend very likely a key position in the small forward position. I think you keep LeBron at the 4, you kind of let him play that free safety position, you go with Jarred Vanderbilt, now you got that cohesiveness, that continuity, and then you have just everything you need to have success. Now, the main reason I don't like Rui, but I do like the idea of Taurean Prince. And I have talked about this all offseason since we got the news that Taurean Prince was an acquisition. I said that there's a real argument for him to start. The main argument, in my opinion, is how well does Jarred Vanderbilt shoot the 3 ball this year, right? Has he shown significant improvements and significant strides? Because if he has, I think you have to start him. Because again, defensively, he's your best defensive player. And if he can just, and I'm not talking about him having to shoot 40%. Taurean Prince promised that he would shoot 40% this year, which I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he shoots like 38, 39%, and he's never played with a roster that has like a LeBron. I mean, he has played with LeBron, but like LeBron and AD and D'Lo and all these guys that can create multiple ways and draw so much attention to where he's going to get open looks he's never gotten before, and he's going to play a bigger role than he did back then, all those years yonder, right? So I do think Taurean Prince actually has a lot of sense argument over Rui and Vando if Vando isn't capable of knocking down at an efficient clip, right? Around like at least 34, 35%. If he's still around 30%, then I think it makes sense to go with Taurean Prince because you don't get the elite level defense, but you get very good defense, a guy that can still defend 1 through 4, and a guy that can shoot 40% from 3 and is a really good spot-up three-point shooter, catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, and is your prototypical 3-and-D style player, which would be perfect next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He's also a veteran that's not afraid of the moment. I've even talked about I think it's very likely Taurean Prince is the guy that closes. Whether it's moving Reeves to the point, Prince to the 2, and then having a Vando at the 3, or Prince at the 3 with D'Lo, Reeves, because he's a guy that you know is not going to make mistakes. He's not going to turn the ball over. He's going to play within the system. He's going to defend the best player on the other team if need be. He's going to give you energy. He's going to go after it, right? He's the kind of guy that you want closing. I mean, he was doing it for Minnesota, did it against us, made some big shots. And the reason I like the idea of Prince over Rui is because my fear is that if Rui is in the starting unit, he just becomes a corner spot-up three-point shooter. And if that's what you're going to do with Rui Hachimura, that makes zero sense to start him over a Taurean Prince, who that's his role. That's what his role has always been. He's comfortable in that role, and that's his strengths, being a legit 3-and-D guy. Rui's strengths aren't being a just spot-up corner three-point shooter, right? His strengths are to put him on the block, let him go to work, run some pick and pops, just let him go and put a defender on the island and just go to town. Right? Like, those are the things that Rui really thrives in. And my fear is that they use Rui Hachimura like they would use a Taurean Prince or a Jarred Vanderbilt. And it's like, what's the point? Where if Rui Hachimura comes off the bench, right, and Taurean Prince starts, well, then now you could go and have a Rui Hachimura be one of the key offensive threats off the bench. One, he's also going to have defensive bench players defending him. Good luck there. And just let him feast. Like, run your offense through. I'm not saying every possession has to go through him, but run your offense through him. Taurean Prince makes a world of sense. And it's something that I've talked about repeatedly this offseason. Repeatedly of like, hey, if you're not going to start Vando, go with Prince. Because Prince will give you that quality, just three-point threat, but also give you some great defense, right? Again, he's not elite. Like, Jarred Vanderbilt is one of, if not the best perimeter defenders in the entire league. Like, he's ridiculously good defensively, right? But he's our worst offensive player if we're going off of what we got last year. So I would rather go with the guy that, yes, he's not elite defensively, but he's elite from three-point range. If he's shooting 39, 40%, that's elite. He's shooting a high percentage from three-point range and can also provide, yes, not elite level defense, but can provide you very good, type of defense, above average defense. He's got good size, good length, good strength, good everything. I just think that Taurean Prince is the answer if you're not going with Jarred Vanderbilt, right? I think that he would also, in my opinion, give the Lakers a bit of a calm, right? Because, again, he's kind of been there, done that. He has the experience. He's hit big shots. I mean, he hit a huge 3 against us. Like it was nothing. Like it was shoot around, right? I mean, the guy has shown that he's capable of stepping up when need be. that he can go and defend and lock up and make things difficult for the best player on the other team. And he would just fit that starting unit beautifully. Because again, not only do you have LeBron James, but you have Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell, who are both great playmakers and great at just drawing the defensive attention to then leak out to the drive and kick to Taurean Prince or whatever. Prince is going to get more wide open threes than he's probably ever gotten in his career playing alongside those guys, right? So it's going to be massive for him. And so I do like the idea. I do think that he's a very good, solid fit. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Would you go with Taurean Prince? Would you go with Jarred Vanderbilt? Would you go with Rui Hachimura? Do you agree with my points for each of them? Again, it boils down to I just think Rui is going to end up being and playing the role that a Taurean Prince and Jarred Vanderbilt just fill better. Like they're better suited for that position. So I just don't think Rui makes sense in that regard. And then Taurean Prince, he's the better three-point shooter and gives you good defense. Jarred Vanderbilt is, again, based on last year, our worst offensive player, but gives you elite level defense. And I just don't think you need a ton of offense, right? I don't think you need a guy that can go and give you another 20 in the starting unit. I just think you need a guy like Jarred Vanderbilt. Can he knock down 2 or 3 threes a game? Same thing with Prince. Can he knock down 2 or 3 threes a game? Because he's just left wide open all game in the corner, right? That's kind of the direction I'd go. But again, love to hear it. However you feel, let me know down in the comments below.